Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Drewski with Cryptidwarfare and Conspiracies Podcast. I hope you guys had a blessed week, and I'm glad you guys are stopping by. All right, guys, we have a heater of a show for y'all, as from one cryptid hunting team to another. So I'm going to introduce to you guys Craig and Paul on the show right now. They're part of Penn Ohio Cryptid Research. So I just want to say, if you guys haven't looked them up, go look them up, guys. They're on Facebook. So, and like I said, I will have all the information and stuff like that on the show notes. So this is going to be really, really interesting, really, really good. You guys got any notepads and paper? And there is my boy right there. Yeah. If there's any guys got any notepads and paper? Okay. If there's any notepads and paper, you guys take notes real quick. But hold on. All right, guys, we are back into it. Had a little technical difficulties. My son is home, so anyways, yeah, guys. All right, let's get back into it. All right, guys, may I introduce you guys, Craig and Paul from Penn Ohio Cryptid Research. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, man. And so as far as Bigfoot and stuff like that, yeah, we're definitely have to have part two. I know you guys are a wealth of knowledge, and I know you guys have basically like over 120 some years of experience. But when it comes to that, you guys have two other guys on your team. So all you guys combine all that, guys, that's a lot of knowledge, guys, with bushcraft, cryptids, and stuff like that. So, but as far as both of you guys, I want to know where all this started. How'd you guys get into all this cryptid paranormal stuff?
Well, from the original Patterson Gimlin film, when I seen that, well, I was just a kid when that come out. I was born in 55, and I think that come out 67. So I was like 12 years old, and I was convinced from the beginning that Bigfoot was real. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, I've always been interested in any new show that would come out, anything that had to do with Bigfoot. I was always watching it. You know, so that's how the interest in Bigfoot started with me, you know, from the Patterson Gimlin film. And Paul,
I just, you know, being younger, when I was younger, you remember back in school, you used to get those little papers where you could order magazines or books for different things. I always ordered the ones for the monsters, the cryptids. So I've been in it since, you know, first grade. I've been ordering that stuff and reading it. And for many, many years, it was all armchair research, basically. You know, yeah. I mean, you know, you're a kid. What are you going to do? But as we got older, I moved to this town where my wife's from and met Craig, and we started talking and never knew that he was into Bigfoot or any of that stuff. So we got to talking one day, and I found out he was into it, and I was into it, and we thought, what the hell? This was 8 years ago.
Yeah, we're in our 8th year of active research now.
Yeah.
And, 8 years ago, I said, "Hey, we should go out sometime, you know, just to see what we can." And that done it, man.
Okay, now hold on, now question. Okay, because me as a fellow researcher too, it took me a while to kind of vet my guys on who I pick. So how did that question come up between you two? How did you guys figure that out, that you guys were both cryptid enthusiasts?
Oh, there was a show on, and I was standing out here on the street, me and Craig, and I asked him if he had watched it. It was about the Bigfoot in Alaska, and they turned the trees upside down. Mm-hmm. And there was reports of a 16-foot tall Sasquatch, right? Something like that. So I was out there talking, and you know, found out that he was interested in Bigfoot, and he had watched that show too.
Oh, okay.
So Craig,
that show kind of broke the ice.
Yeah, we went and got a tape measure and put 12 foot up against the side of my house, and then put like as wide as they described it. And then when you look at that, it's like,
oh, huge.
That is huge, you know. So that was the first. That was the beginning of Penn Ohio Cryptid research.
Yeah.
Right there.
So
Yeah.
it really wasn't no event or nothing. It was just a couple. We decided, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? We're both interested. What the heck, you know?
Yeah.
We had been neighbors for
Our
probably
kids
almost
went to
18
school
years,
together.
you know. So
Ah, okay.
we
Yeah, I
knew
see.
each
Gotcha.
other.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
guys had
our kids
that's
were
about the background.
all
Yeah.
around the same age, you know. So it wasn't like we didn't know each other. We lived like right across the street from each other. You know.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't know I didn't know he was into Bigfoot, and he didn't know I was into Bigfoot. You know, so that's what started it.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so after you guys figure that out, did you guys actually plan something like right off the bat to go to certain area to go investigate? Yeah.
Yeah, we did actually, because there's an area near here where there's been reports that go back into there's reports that go way back, but at the time, my brief little bit of knowledge of the local reports was the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
So we started going out to the spot where this had happened, and there had been reports in the 80s and then the late 80s, and we went out there, and then I had joined another group and had done an investigation right here in the town I live in.
Yeah.
And then I got with Craig, and we had gotten reports from a place, I don't know what, about 10 miles from here.
Yeah,
Haunted out in Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went out
probably
there
about 10 miles away.
For the first time on private property. And our first night out, we had a rock whipped at us through the woods. So,
oh, nice.
And eye shine, and we had we believe two, one on one side of us and one on the other side, and one distracting so the other one could go away is what we think.
Because we had it pinned down. We had the one. It was peeking out around a tree.
Yeah.
It was doing one of these, and but that night this was before we didn't have any equipment either. When I first started out, and this thing kept peeking around the corner, peeking around. It was tucked. It was tucked down under along a creek bed, and there was a big tree right there, and that's what it was peeking out around. Well, the other one threw a rock right between us, and we jumped off the chair, and we're like, "What in the world was that?" Because you could hear it coming through the leaf canopy and thud like right between us.
Yeah.
We jumped up off of them chairs, and we're like, then we went back and looked, and the other one it took off. So that's why we think there was one threw a rock at us, and the other one took off, because the rock came from a completely different direction than the one we had pinned down.
And at that time, that rock, we left. It was still brand. It was the first night out.
Yeah.
Here comes the woods. It was like, okay, we're getting out of here. So we left, but we've gotten a lot braver since then.
Yeah. I jumped up out of that chair so fast I pulled a hamstring muscle.
I got you, man. I got you.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as that, did you guys let anybody know like where on the general area of like where you guys were going?
We let our wives know.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Just the wives.
Yeah. That's we don't.
I know. I know you guys don't advertise and stuff like that, but I know the whole safety part of it. If something happens and you guys ain't back by a certain time, they need to know where to send the cavalry at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They know. They know where we're going.
Good. We found people attempting to mess around, building structures with zip ties, and
we found a zip tie.
We actually found
structure.
A whole structure built with zip ties that was made to look like you would see a stick stackings and everything. Yeah,
we don't think he uses zip ties.
So
no, negative. Yeah, I hear that.
We're very, very secretive now where we go and when we go. So
Yeah, I hear that. Now, as far as like the data and stuff you guys collected over the time, but before I get into that, when do those other two guys join on the team?
Well, it's one.
The-
It's one other one, and then we have two more that want to come. They just haven't got a chance to come yet.
I
But
got
the
you.
other
Oh,
guy,
yeah, the other guys, yeah, they're on.
oh, they want to come. Yeah, they've seen our evidence. You know, they hear us talking. And
Yeah,
they,
I'm not talking about like the PTM members, like the potential team members, the guys who haven't gone on. The other two guys who are already on.
there's only one
One-
already on.
Oh, there's only one guy. Another
Yeah.
guy who's on.
Yeah,
Okay,
he can't be here.
his name's Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
been
cool.
coming with
He
us
just
for
came on
about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
About 2 years ago, he's been
So-
coming with us.
yeah.
And he's hooked too now. He
Yeah, that's usually what happens, man. When you bring someone, you know, they usually catch the bug, and that's it.
Yeah, he got it.
it's like a snowball up the top of the mountain. You know, you roll it down, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know you can't stop it after it gets going. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Now, as far as like the data and stuff like that, what have you guys came across so far? Like, you guys cast any footprints?
Yes,
We have,
Yeah,
we
stuff
have,
like that.
footprint.
And yeah,
we found legit tree structures.
yes.
We've found we've had recordings of whistles. We have I think 18 recorded whistles.
Yeah.
We went down to Forbes National Forest.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, we were a long ways back in the woods. We saw one vehicle the whole time we were there, and it was a little old lady driving, and she didn't even see us. So we're doing our investigation, and we start hearing this something moving through the woods. Okay, this is like it started around 10:30 at night. It's pitch black. I mean, you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face, you know. And all of a sudden, we start hearing whistles, and they were coming from the left. And by the time they were done, the 18th one was all the way over here to the right, and you could hear it walking through the woods the whole time. It was like, you know, just a real loud. You know, you could tell it had like some volume to it. So we found a footprint down there too. We have that on our webpage too.
Well, yeah.
And plus we have a lot of unexplained stuff too. I mean, totally unexplained stuff.
Large structures.
Yeah.
On top of cliff faces that we've gotten, where we found a track of prints, probably 20 yards worth of prints.
Yeah.
60-inch stride.
Yeah.
You know, so
walking right into the river
in April.
The end of April.
And for us in April, it's still, you know, that you're not going wading in your bare feet middle of the woods.
Yeah,
we
right
still
on
get
that.
snow in April a lot of times, you know, so it's still cold.
We've gotten that with tree breaks, lots of tree breaks. We've actually seen a tree get ripped down not 100 yards away from us. We couldn't see what done it, but we did see the tree ripping, you know, whipping back and forth and getting snapped off. And this was a good 8-inch tree.
Okay.
We were able to get in to take pictures of the tree, but you could hear after that tree went down, you could hear an elephant running through the brush.
It sounded like King Kong running through the woods.
Yeah. And,
you know,
bears don't do that. Bears can't do that. They can't.
You're right.
So, you know, a lot of trees, you know, 3-inch, 4-inch trees twisted off and
twisted. Live too. They were alive.
You know the twist.
Yeah.
Stuff.
We found several.
We
of them.
followed those just out of curiosity, and some other researchers have said, you know, think that maybe they point a certain direction.
Gotcha.
So,
almost kind of like markers. Yeah.
We followed tree breaks, and we came upon a freshwater spring at the end of the last tree break. So
Yeah, we don't know if that was it or not, but
sure seems likely to me. But
could have been.
Have you guys take a note or like take pictures like sketched out of the one that actually led to the spring, just in case you guys run across something like that again on like a certain way it was broke or anything like that?
Yeah, we have pictures of everything. We photos, video, we got all that stuff. A lot of it's not up right now.
Yeah.
I've been having some medical issues and I'm having trouble using my computer. So once I get that straightened out, which it's almost there, I'll get all that information uploaded onto Facebook.
Yeah, but we still have a lot on there too.
Yeah,
a lot of pictures and stuff and all the pictures on our Facebook page come from us.
Gotcha.
That's all our evidence.
Yeah.
So, and another thing we did too, we went back to where the majority of the places where we found this evidence, and we had gloves and test tubes, and we got samples of the soil and stuff. I mean, we don't have the money for DNA tests, but we have several tubes of where we found structures, these tree breaks, and the footprints where we believe we had, like where we had sightings, and took samples of like around that area too, like in the dirt. So we don't know, if we have anything or not there, but we try to do it as scientific as we can. We're just a couple of rednecks from a little town with one red light. You know what I mean?
I hear that. Yeah.
we're not rocket scientists, but we're giving it the old college try.
Yeah, I got that for sure. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was waiting for you. I thought
you were. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as that, I know with every cryptid hunter and stuff like that and researcher, what was the most scariest and like close call you guys ever had of all the researching you guys been on?
Well, for me, it was
individual or together as a team.
Okay, where there's actually two. Okay,
go for
it. Where we found this structure, we were on the side of a mountain. Okay, and we were call blasting some Bigfoot sounds out into this valley, and all of a sudden, like there was probably about 20 foot up from us, 25 foot maybe, this scream. We got a recorded scream that just was so loud. It was unbelievable. And now neither one of us want to shoot Bigfoot. Okay. But where we go, there's bears, there's coyotes, there's
cougars.
Reported, they say there are no cougars, but there's a lot of people that will swear they've seen cougars. So, and you don't know what kind of crazy person you're going to meet out there.
Yes.
So I have a 357 and Paul carries a 45.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, I spun around and I had that gun out. I was ready. I thought he was coming down over the hillside after us.
Yeah.
That got me going. And then the one other time was on the other side of this valley. We this one spot we go to. No, a backstory to this spot. Okay, we was in this one area where we put our cameras. We put camera traps out, and we always put two cameras, one camera on another camera, just mainly in case somebody would steal the camera. We might have an idea who took our camera. But it turns out it turns into a mystery, and I can tell you about that in a minute. But this little patch of woods we're in, now I've been in the woods a long time, and we're going through this woods looking for a good spot to put the cameras. All through the woods, there's these sticks stuffed in the ground.
Yeah.
There must have been 300-400 of them. I mean,
really?
all through. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. And so. We went there, and now we go during the day, put our cameras out, and then we stay for a night investigation.
Yeah.
So we're we're doing our night investigation. We're in a spot, but a pull off spot, and all of a sudden, Paul starts hearing. I mean, this is pitch black. I mean, like I said, you can't see your hand in front of your face, and all of a sudden, Paul's hearing is a little bit better than mine, and he goes, "Did you hear that?" He goes, "I swear I'm hearing a kid in there giggling." I was like, "Oh, a kid giggling? You know, there shouldn't be no kids out here giggling in the woods. You know what I mean?" And we don't know if we come upon a nursery for those could have been like the small ones emulating the big ones. We're stuffing them big trees down in the ground. They could have been. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, that had me concerned because I didn't know what that was. You know, and
yeah, that'd be a bad day.
I was hugging the truck. You know what I mean? And Paul was hugging the truck on the other side too. You know, it was like, and I had my hand on my weapon. You know, I didn't know what that had me a little concerned. But those were the two for me.
Yeah. Man.
For me, this is gonna be dumb, but was out one night hunting Bigfoot, and we had done some calls, and we got a couple yells back. So we're standing there. It's dark, of course, and I'm standing on the very edge of this trail or driveway where we're parked, and the opossum fell out of the tree above my head and landed.
Hell. Woo, buddy.
Yeah. Scared. Yeah. That was the scariest one for me.
Man.
He had that 45 out in a hurry. He spun around. He didn't know what was coming at him.
That dang possum, man. God.
I had to share that.
It fell out of the tree right behind him.
Yeah. Dude, that scared the crap out of me. But seriously, last year we were standing on that cliff face.
Yeah.
And doing an investigation, and we were call blasting and yelling and stuff, and wasn't getting anything, so we just went quiet. And we're sitting there talking, you know, amongst ourselves, and all of a sudden, above our heads, a tree comes down, just above, probably, what is that? Probably 15, 20 feet up above us, and then back in probably another
30 yards, maybe
30 yards or something, back into the woods. A tree got knocked over. That was pretty. That was close. That was really close to us, and that got my blood going there pretty good. So
and there was no wind. There was absolutely no wind.
You know, it wasn't a natural thing. We come back the next day because we couldn't find it. Come back the next day and actually found the tree, and about 4.5 feet up, it snapped off and pushed down, you know, and a perfectly live, nothing wrong with tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that doesn't happen because of wind.
Now, we believe it was Bigfoot.
So,
you know.
It was certainly wasn't human, and it wasn't a bear. So
the guy that can't be here, Mike, that goes with us.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, Mike goes, "Okay, guys, my mom just called, and she said I got to go home right now." And we started laughing. We started cracking up. We're thinking between us. We're like, if Bigfoot was trying to intimidate us, these guys are down there cracking up. Hey, you probably kicking rocks and leaving. You know, probably it didn't work.
Probably. Oh man, he's like, yeah, guys, past my bedtime. I gotta get going.
I gotta go. Yeah, he goes, "Oh, my mom just called. She said I gotta go home right now."
That's hilarious. Well, that is a good way, you know, to kind of basically, you know, to kind of get fear out of it, is to crack jokes, man. That's the best way to do it.
You gotta go. That's our rule when we take somebody. We tell them, listen, you can't. If you get scared, we're not coming home. You know, you can't get scared. If you get scared, you're gonna have to sit in the truck or something. You know, because we're not coming home.
Yeah.
We're out here for a reason,
Not when it starts to happen.
Yeah. It's like fishing. It don't happen all the time,
No, I hear that. Yeah.
But when it does, I'm telling you, you've been out,
Yeah, I agree. And anybody who says that does this, that says that basically that they get a hit every time, full of crap in my opinion. Because with us, same way too. Probably about 75 to 80% of the time, nothing.
Talking.
But it's always like that. It's always like that 20%, like where you least expect it. Something goes off. And, oh, okay, game on.
Yep,
game on. Yeah,
and it happens quick.
It does.
Happen just like that. It could happen.
It happens fast. Yeah, it's funny you guys say that. We actually had an incident. Oh gosh, this was 2 years ago. So altogether, I have about 8 guys on the team right now. So we're actually all pretty good. All of us are either prior military or prior law enforcement. So we all try to put like the investigation side to like bushcraft and all that. We try to use our abilities that we learned and put it into Bigfoot researching and stuff. But I usually put it this way. One of my good friends, Nick, he actually used to work for the government, for the DOD, worked for Blackwater and all that. He's basically into the dogman thing, right?
Okay.
So with him, he worked for the DOD for a while that actually dealt with critter hitters, is what they call them. So he was on a team that basically dealt with cryptids. If these cryptids went rogue or started snatching people and stuff like that in national forests, if it got that bad, they would shut the park down. They would send his team in. They would capture or kill whatever that was doing it. Then they open the park back up again. Anyways, yeah, so he did that for years. But he told me this rule. He's like, hey, man, just FYI, he's like, never go without at least 4 or 5 guys. Well, I broke that rule. So in a nutshell, we got an email that there were a lot of homeless going missing, a lot of animals getting killed over in Mountain City, Tennessee, is like where we're like at the area is at. So a lot of the guys couldn't go because of scheduling issues. So me, my good friend Paul, and then one of my good friends, T, at the time, he was actually brand new to this. He was actually more of a skeptic. So I was like, hey, man, you want to just go backpacking with us and camping out? He's like, yeah, I'll go. He's like, are we going on this Bigfoot hunt? I was like, it's more like a, basically, just out there just checking stuff out. He's like, all right, whatever. Well, basically, to make a long story short, we went to this area, talked to this lady. She pointed out like this logging road where everything was going on. And we went out about a good 6 to 9 miles deep on this logging road and got out, hiked in a little more ways, and then set up camp. And then probably about like midnight, Paul went into his tent. Me and T have the fire going. We're just chit chatting. Well, like I said, a lot of us are ex-military, ex-law enforcement, so we usually bring our gear because of the animals and most of all people, right? Because you don't know what the heck you're gonna run into. So we actually have our plate carriers, M4s, all that stuff, right? Night vision, all that.
Yeah.
So him and I are just chatting around the fire, and we're in this holler. Appalachian Trail's shooting out behind us, mountains on both sides. We're in this holler. Well, we hear like this rock about a good 500 yards up the mountain start tumbling down. And then we start hearing these branches break and stuff like that coming down the mountain. And then my friend T, he was a skeptic at the time. He's like, what is that? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of playing dumb, but inside, I know what's going on. Yeah. So I get on the radio and I tell Paul, I was like, hey, man, I'm pretty sure we got contact. He's like, all right, man. So he comes out of his tent and he's listening. Well, we start hearing these things come down the mountain. Well, as a rule of thumb, wherever we're camping, I always set up like a 50-foot perimeter alarm wherever we're at all the time. Well, that thing finally comes down the mountain and we hear it about 100 yards off. Next thing we know, the trip alarm to the south goes off. So we turn, raise rifles, and then the north alarm goes off. So basically, in a nutshell, all these alarms go off around us. We're hearing things running, bluff charging. Yeah. We throw our night vision on. We can see these shadows. Throw our ARs up with the light. just far enough to where these things are right outside the light. And these things just start just throwing pebbles at us, man. And it's getting so bad to where my friend T gets hit with infrasound, dizzy, throwing up. We actually had to take a couple pop shots. But I'm not going to shoot at anything I don't see. I just look at a tree trunk in the area these things are at, and I just start shooting at that tree trunk. I popped off 5 rounds. Boom, 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 boom. And these things take off. Like you said, they sound like bulldozers going through the forest.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So after that incident happened, my friend T was like, I'm in. Whatever's going on, I'm in.
He was in the club.
Yeah. But after that incident, though, it literally scared me so bad. Like, I literally took 6 months off from going into the woods, man.
I don't blame you. People don't understand. They think it's a joke.
It's no joke, man.
Go out there.
I think you got to kind of be like a little bit of a adrenaline junkie.
You do.
Yes. Anyhow, you know, like me and Paul we're neighbors. You know, so like a storm warning come out, tornadoes warning. I usually beat Paul out, or he beats me out on the porch. You know,
yeah.
We're
I'm the same way.
House is in the basement.
Tornado, what? You look outside, right?
You know, yeah. So I don't know. It's great. You know,
it's addicting. It is addicting. After you get going and you start going out, you start getting the equipment, and
it definitely becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah. We have body cams now. We put on body cams when we go.
Oh, that's good.
And then we have because of the incident with the tree. That first time we had the tree ripped down, we couldn't get our phones out quick enough. We weren't expecting it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when within about 3 or 4 days, as soon as we get out of the truck, we got our body cams turned on, you know. So but we know what we heard and we know what we saw, you know. And it couldn't have been anything else but a giant Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know.
What kind of body cams y'all use?
Police body cams. With,
MCOMs. I think they're called MCOMs.
Yeah, MCOMs.
Yeah.
And then we have I don't know 6 or 7 different trail cams we put out, and then we have a FLIR. We have a FLIR, and then we have a Generation 3 night vision, you know, recorder, and you know we've and then we got sound enhancers. We got a call blaster. We got, you know, like voice recorders, you know, digital voice recorders and stuff too.
You guys got all that tech. Nice. I'm gonna have to pick your mind on some stuff. If I need something, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna call Craig or Paul, like get them up.
We started out with nothing 8 years ago. We just knew we wanted to go out, you know, and then
so it was like, hey, I want to talk to my wife, see if we can buy one of these.
Yep.
So,
well, that's good, man. Yeah, because with that, I'm actually gonna have to look in that M-Tech, because as far as us, we usually carry like GoPro, so either on our helmets, press rig, or at the end of our rifle. But
I have one of those too. But the with the body cam, it automatically goes night vision. You know, you don't have, it does sound, it does you don't have to, and they last.
Yeah,
they last longer than my GoPro does.
Yeah, they're pretty durable too.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at them right now as we're talking. I'm just kind of listening. I want to look at these things. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to talk to the guys. We're going to have to definitely get some of these, because like you said, you know, those GoPros, man, they run out of memory like that. And the batteries too, you got to keep switching out and all that. So something pops off, you ain't got time for that, you know?
No, we've had many times when it's, well, just recently we had a time when everything went dead. You experienced that yet? All your equipment just
everything started shutting down.
You know, cell phones, recorders, our cameras all stared beeping that they was all dead.
We put new batteries in right before
everything was charged up.
We had charged up and new batteries, and they all just started shutting down.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's electromagnetic.
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with electromagnetics. I think somehow or another they, you always hear these stories about how they shimmer and this and that, and electromagnetic waves and stuff like that. I mean, there's so much we don't know yet about that kind of stuff. And on top of that, I did a bunch of research in our area and found out that we live on a magnetic flux in this area.
Okay.
Our compasses are always kind of varying by a couple degrees in this area. So I think with that and with whatever it is they can do, they're pulling the battery energy or shutting off electronics. So somehow.
Yeah. Now, as far as that, you ever thought about because example, like me and the guys were talking about this. Now, as far as an area, because I know like a lot of areas don't have the residual thing of like pulling or like draining, like your battery life and all that. We're talking about it. Do you guys ever? Okay, now as far as them being interdimensional, how are you guys on the whole? Them jumping in and out of portals.
Well,
you guys
open.
We're open to it because when we first started out, I'm 100% convinced. We're just going out looking for some type of ape, some type of primitive human, something. But I'm gonna tell you what. This one spot we go to, we have so much unexplained stuff going on that it's just unreal.
Yeah.
We right almost 50, maybe 50 yards from where that first tree got ripped down. We put our cameras out there, and like I told you, we always put a camera on a camera. Okay, so we put our cameras out. We start like right after spring gobbler, and we pull them out right before our tree because we don't want to mess somebody's hunt up. Okay, with the cameras and that. So we're walking in to put our cameras in, and Paul, or I mean, we're taking them out at this when this happened. But the one camera, all it had on was a picture of Paul turning the camera on and turning the camera off. The other picture had three pictures. Okay, it had about 153 pictures altogether, but there was three. The one was like a glowing. You could see these glows, and then it got closer, and then the last one you could see two glowing figures standing in front of the camera, and then there was 150 blank pictures after that.
It's on our Facebook.
We have those pictures on our Facebook page.
Okay.
It starts off as two like glowing orbs, and then it starts to take the form of silhouettes. And then the third one is really defined silhouette, two silhouettes.
Standing right in the middle of nowhere.
This camera facing, let's say that camera's facing west. This camera over here is facing towards that camera from the north.
I'm actually looking at them right now as we're talking.
There you go.
You see those glowing figures?
I do.
150 black pictures.
After that,
the other camera never picked up a single thing that camera did.
Man, guys, those are really detailed.
The only thing, I mean, I've thought about. I even had a guy from JPL, retired JPL guy, look at those, and he said he has no idea, and he done photo stuff for JPL, and he's like, I got nothing for you. If it was a one-dimensional, if it was a portal that opened in front of that camera would record it, but the other camera wouldn't be able to see it.
And that's what we're thinking it might be. It might have been a portal there. And another 75 to 100 yards from that, where that happened, we were camera trapping another part of the woods, and we had a similar with light. The same thing, camera on the camera, but it's just a single light. There was three. You can see them. They're just three single lights, and the other camera didn't catch nothing. And if somebody would have been walking through the woods with a light, that other camera would have caught it.
I mean, the trail cams would pick up somebody walking in. They got night vision on them.
Yeah.
For sakes, it's not. You're not going to sneak up on a trail camera unless you know exactly where it is. But those silhouettes.
Yeah, those silhouettes are great. Jeez, though.
Yeah.
And then right down in the same area, down at the other end of this spot where we go, we're sitting there. Now there's one way in. It's like a mile and a half in on a dirt road, old dirt road, and the water's to our back. So there's nobody coming in that we can't see. Well, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, we look over, and this field it just starts lighting up, and then it starts dimming back down, and then it starts lighting up. Well, we got up. We thought, well, is somebody riding a four-wheeler or something through there or something? Nothing. No sound, no nothing. And then we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, one tree just starts shaking like crazy. You ever see a documentary of them when they harvest like pecans or something? This machine comes up and grabs the tree. This is what this tree sounded like. It was shaking like crazy.
Yeah.
We couldn't see nothing. And then all of a sudden, this field just starts lighting. We have pictures of the field lighting up too. You could see it on the thing too. And again, we're a mile and a half back in the woods. There's one way in, one way out. There's nobody coming there.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at it right now. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
We had actually spoken to Army Corps of Engineers that frequent the area, and they won't go back there by themselves. They actually came to us and asked us
when
if we had ever seen the field light up.
They knew we were Bigfoot researchers and stuff.
And we was like, well, yeah, we've seen it. And he says, yeah. He said, we have no idea what the hell's causing that. When they Army Corps won't go back there by themselves at night.
He said he's seen the same thing. He said
they stay out.
He had no idea what
they've seen. We even see the local police if they patrol, for parkers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
come down with every light on.
Light on the cruiser.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're lit up. We see them coming. And they're like, "What are you guys are down here hunting Bigfoot?"
Yeah, they won't go down there in the dark by themselves. They don't like it. So there's something weird down there.
And then another thing that we've seen down there too,
last year.
Well, last year we saw it. We've seen it twice. Last year was the second time. The first time we were down there, we started seeing these shadows moving around us. They're like moving all around us in no particular order. And Paul started snapping. He got a good phone that takes good pictures at night. So he started just snapping. And we caught one. And you could see it we have it on our page too. You can see the one small one that you can see it. And then we blew it up one time and you could see, you can see a face in this thing. You can see the eyes in the small one. Then the next one, you can see the eyes. And then the second one, the third one that's blowed up, you can see the eyes, you can see the nose, and you can see a mouth in this shadow. And we have those on there too. You can see.
Cool, man.
And then last year.
Hey, hold on real quick. We're going to take a quick pause real quick, my son, real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Hold that thought.
Hold on.
All right, Craig, let's get back into it.
Okay. Now, I was telling you about the shadow with the face in.
Mm-hmm.
We have pictures of that. And last year, we were out at the same spot. Okay. And then we started smelling this. We've never smelled this smell. We've smelled some rotten deer and dead deer and stuff. We were there for probably a couple hours and didn't smell it. And then all of a sudden we start smelling it, and then it would go away. Then we started smelling it again. And then all of a sudden, that's when the equipment started shutting down. Yeah. And that's when Paul and Mike, you tell them what you saw.
We had moved. Craig was probably 20 yards away from us.
Okay.
So Mike and I had moved over near where Craig was and could smell it but we'd never seen nothing. And then the smell would go, it would come back again really strong. So we're sitting there or standing there talking, and all of a sudden, from behind behind Mike's Jeep, this huge black mass, shadow, mass, whatever, come straight towards where we were standing. Now there was a small group of bushes and trees there, probably about 6 foot wide, 8 foot wide, and 20 or 30 feet long, just a little peninsula of trees, you know.
Yeah.
And it had run straight into those trees. And if it had run into those trees, it would have come out the other side, would have ran directly into Craig.
Yeah.
Well, it never did. It just came across there. Mike, I seen it, and I turned to slap Mike and say, look, and he said, I see it, before he even touched him.
Yeah.
And he circled around to try to get behind, like where it had gone in, and I went straight in to see, and it went nowhere. It was gone. There was no footprints. There was no nothing. But that thing was there. We smelled it. We saw it. All the cameras and everything else, just a minute before this happened, all died out. So
everything just shut down.
You know. And after all that and everything, we finished off the investigation and stuff. And just for the hell of it, I went back to all the equipment and was turning them on to see. They were all half charged yet.
Yeah.
So why they all buzzed out and shut off dead?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But the thing was huge. It was massive. Yeah. Still, I don't know if it was physical or not, because it left no tracks, no nothing, made no noise when it went into the trees or anything. So
we don't know what's going on out at this one spot.
Yeah.
And we've had documented Bigfoot activity here. We've heard wood knocks out here. We've had that's where we had the tree ripped down in front of us. I mean, there's documented Bigfoot out there, but there's all this other unexplained stuff that happened, and it's in this one spot. The other 2-3 spots we go to, we don't have any of that. You know,
not that kind of
not like the field lighting up and the glowing fit, because we camera trap. We have 4 spots that we go to. You know, and we'll go in and put our cameras in. And we back out. We try not to go back there for at least 3 weeks, you know,
gotcha.
to keep it from getting contaminated, you know. So we rotate when we go. We're always going to the other spots, you know what I mean? And this one spot it's just got this.
It's weird.
We don't know what in the world is going on out here.
Yeah. Have you guys tried to look into I guess like the history of that area?
Yeah.
Like if there's any like ley lines on it, any Indian tribes or anything?
The ley lines are very, very heavy. The magnetic flux there is 3 degrees on your compass. Just from I had gone out into that field where it lights up and stand in one spot, and I'm, let's say, 3 degrees north. Okay, move to another spot, I'm 3 degrees the opposite side of north.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a flux there. The ley lines are extremely heavy there. And there's an Indian burial ground not too far from the area.
Okay.
Whether that plays into it,
we don't know.
Yeah.
Now, as far as that, has there been any dogman encounters out there?
Recently, I've heard of 2 reports.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say because I know with dogmen they're kind of known for like when it comes to Indian burial grounds and stuff like that.
I wonder maybe that's what is going on.
We don't know because we
it's not Squatch.
We don't know if this could be Dogman. There's right in this the same. I mean, within probably a half a mile from where we usually set up, they said they had a sighting there, and maybe another mile or so out towards the road, somebody claims they seen one run across the road.
Gotcha.
And they claim it was a Dogman.
You think Dogman messes with, or is that it has like that supernatural messing with electronics and shadows and lights and stuff? You think that's Dogman leaning?
Well, as far as that, when it comes to Dogman,
You think he's straight up physical?
Yeah, we just actually went on a Dogman hunt not too long ago. But as far as that, I kind of put them in like 3 categories, right? Almost like a noun, like a person, place, or thing, right? So I kind of continue them because every Dogman encounter I've researched and talking to a bunch of dudes on the international Dogman, yeah, on international Dogman teams and the American Dogman teams, probably about 95% of them have been like almost like as soon as they've seen one, felt one, it's almost like a pure evil, almost like a primal fear, right? So as far as that,
Yeah.
if you got these Dogmen there have been reports and sightings, and especially from Nick, that these things physically eat animals, deer, stuff like that. They physically drink water, they leave scat. But there's also ones they've seen that have faded, right? You see them run, all of a sudden they just fade into nothing. And then you have ones that could be or cannot be government created. So I think they're in all 3 categories, in my opinion. Now, as far as them messing with like your electronics, that could be on like the spiritual side of it. Who knows? But the more and more I'm digging into all this, the more and more I'm realizing how much I don't know.
Yeah, that's where we're at too.
Yeah. If they are doing it, it wouldn't surprise me.
There's that big shadow, because that was scary. I don't know how these guys felt about it, but when I saw that shadow, that was frightening. Okay, because it was huge, it made no noise, and it stunk like death over. I mean, it was horrible stench. I've smelled dead bodies, and this was terrible. This was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And now as far as Dogmen, like with all the reports and stuff that my buddy Kenny told me about, they usually roughly smell like wet dog, rancid meat, and like something else. But now with Bigfoot, usually like almost kind of like a sulfurous smell, kind of like eggs, trash, butt, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Who knows? Honestly, you guys could be tapping into like a whole like MUFON or like UFO stuff too. With all the lights you guys see and all
we
that.
Don't know. There's been
with you guys like electronics and stuff like that fading. Now, as far as that goes, whenever that activity is going on, have you guys had any like missing time or anything like that?
Not yet.
Not that we've noticed.
Not that we've noticed. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
Because we really didn't we're going to start getting better on journaling too.
Yeah.
Like stop putting all little and that's one thing we should put down. Like when this stuff goes on, check the time. And see if because when all this is going on, when this stuff is going on, your adrenaline.
You're in the middle of it. Yeah.
You're out there. You're not thinking about anything but like, wow, what's going on here.
Yep. So, it's being in the moment.
Being in the moment. Yeah. Exactly.
I got that, man. Now, okay. Now, as far as your guys' theories wise, I want to ask you guys individually. There ain't no right or wrong answer on this. What do you think Bigfoot is?
like I told you, when we first started out, I was convinced that we're just looking for like some type of primitive ape, primitive human. I didn't know, I just thought it was just but now, with all this stuff that's happened, like this crazy stuff that we, this is all stuff that happened to us.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody telling me what happened to them. I lived it and breathed it and seen the pictures. We set the cameras up. We were there, and
Yeah.
all this stuff starts happening. I'm not crazy, you know. I have no explanation. I am definitely 100% in the I don't know camp.
Gotcha. Okay.
I
That's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know this. If it was just a a dumb ape, which didn't have the intelligence that we just we'd have found them.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that something more is going on. That's where I'm at.
Me, I've done a bunch of research with the UFOs, cave systems, Bigfoot, and all that, and it all overlaps.
Yeah.
They all overlap. UFO sightings, cave systems overlap.
Yeah.
Bigfoot's not a dumb ape. I think they live underground. I think that's their primary habitat is where they stay underground. They come out for food or foraging or mating or whatever it is. I'm not sure about a UFO connection.
Yeah.
But boy, it sure does overlap a lot. I'm on Greg's page. It's not a dumb ape. It by no means. It is a highly intelligent creature.
I agree.
I think when it is finally, if we ever finally meet or whatever you want to call it, capture, or we're going to find out it's going to open a lot of eyes to a lot of things that people aren't ready for.
No, I agree. It's like with the whole alien agenda, but I think Bigfoot is gonna be a lot more effective because I also think it's gonna be a lot more different because this is actually on our home turf, right?
Yeah, terrestrial.
And if people realize there's an apex predator out there in the woods and national forests, possibly might having to deal with maybe like 50% of the people missing. That might cause some problems with people.
That's why you don't ever want to go by yourself. All those people that were missing in the national parks and stuff, the forest, they were by themselves. That was the common factor, the common denominator. They were always by themselves.
We've got 3 guys that go all the time, so we're about to increase that now. So
that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, as far as any other besides Bigfoot, you guys had any other experiences, like any other cryptid, paranormal stuff like that?
UFO stuff. We started getting into it. I don't know, what was that, 3 years ago now? Christmas parade.
Yeah, we had Christmas night light up night parade. It goes down our street. In our town. And I'm sitting on the porch and I see these 2 lights. We have these big Air Force planes. What are
the C-130s?
The C-130s. We have an Air Force base not too far from us, and they fly over all the time. Well, I seen these 2 lights coming, and that's what I thought it was at first.
Yeah.
But then as I'm watching it, the 2 lights went into one, and I jumped up and I told Paul. I said, Paul, look, we're all looking at this thing, and it's moving. It's just no rhyme or reason to this thing moving. And everybody out on the street, they're all looking at it too. There was probably 75 people looking at it.
Everybody's filming it. I got all kinds of videos from people filming it above the houses right here.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't the first time. We started getting some UFO reports from the place did we go to where we have all that weird activity. We had a lot of UFO sightings in that area. So I started gathering all those that I could get a hold of now. So we're branching a little bit. It just seems like when you start down the Bigfoot hole, you end up going. It encompasses a whole lot more than just Bigfoot. You know, the whole UFO thing starts popping up, and where it's heavy Bigfoot sightings, there's always UFO sightings around the same time. Or so we've been. Craig himself had filmed UFO facing north of here. And
we have pictures on the thing. You can see them.
Matter of fact, I've seen that. They're actually at your guys' top of the list right there on your photos.
Those were the latest we put. I went out to take the garbage out, and I looked up in the sky, and I'm like, and I started seeing these. There was like 3 or 4 different ones up there, and I'm like, that don't look normal, you know. So I started taking pictures of them, and you can see like they're different. They're shaped different. The one's in like a Z, and then I had no idea what they were. You know, I don't think they weren't no planes because they weren't moving. They were just hanging there stationary. And there was
they almost look like spaghetti, like kind of noodleish. It's weird.
Yeah, the one is a Z, and then
I see that one.
And they were all 4 different ones. There was 3 or 4 different ones in different parts of the sky, looking towards the north.
You zoomed in on that one.
I zoomed in on the one. Yeah, a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, because you got the one over your house, and then you go to the next photo and you see it, and that one actually looks like a Z. Yeah.
And then, but then you can see it in the one that's not zoomed in, and then you could zoom it in, and you can see you can see the Z. But that's what I was seeing. That one that's not zoomed in. I was seeing these. And you could see like a different shape to them. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and there's also another one that's literally like, it's almost like above it to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
You look closely. Yeah.
They were all hanging together. You know, not
that's
moving.
A trip, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. That's a trip.
I have no idea.
It's
good job though on the cameras though, getting it. That's good. And also too, I also definitely want to applaud you guys on the Bigfoot cast, because it's funny. A lot of people usually get 1 foot. You guys got both.
Walking in a tightrope.
I see that.
And the next step was in the river, in the freezing cold.
I see that. Yeah.
It walked right into the river.
That's good.
Left and right, buddy. If you can get them both, you get them both.
Yeah, damn right, dude. Yeah, it's one thing.
Now, me and Paul are both pretty big guys, okay? And those footprints, we tried to make an impression in the mud as deep as those footprints were. We couldn't even come close.
Ain't no way. Yeah, I know.
I'm 265, and Paul was bigger than me, and neither one of us could. We couldn't come close to laying that track down as deep in that mud as those tracks were.
That's good stuff, guys. All right, last question before we wrap this up. As far as any newcomers, anybody who wants to get into this, I'm asking you guys individually, and then as a whole, what advice would you give to people who want to get into this as far as cryptid researching? What advice would you give them?
I would give them go in there with an open mind. Don't go in there closed-minded. You know, go in with an open mind and just be ready. You know, be ready, because stuff could happen. You know, be prepared. You know, that's what I
gotta say, man. You're gonna get into this. Don't go in alone. Do your research beforehand. Try to gather as much information as you can from as many different sources as you can. Because there's people out there that are loony, and there's people out there that are serious. You can tell who they are. Don't go out there thinking you're going to walk up and shake Bigfoot's hand.
Yeah.
Okay. you're. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You may go out there for years and never experience a single thing, but you got to keep after it. Make sure you're with friends, and just be cautious. Be cautious.
Yeah, our motto is we'd rather have our gun and not need it than to need our gun and not have it. So anytime we go in the woods, because of the people factor, the bear factor, the coyote factor, whatever, we don't want to kill. I don't want to shoot Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I don't want to prove. I don't want to be the one that kills them to prove it. I don't want to. That's not me. I want to prove it, but not that way.
I got you. I hear that.
I'm in awe of Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah. That saying goes, luck favors the prepared, guys. Rather have it, not need it, not have it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So. Just be careful. Just be careful. Be open-minded. You got to be open-minded about it. So, that's pretty much what I would.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like you can't describe it until you've been out there and experienced stuff. It's just I'm hooked. I have no intentions of quitting.
I hear that.
Stay together.
Yeah.
Right on with that, man. So, okay, so Paul, Craig, as far as that, if people got any questions or anything like that, where can people find you?
You can message us right through Messenger on Facebook. I believe our phone numbers are still up there. You can text.
Yeah, Messenger's good.
Messenger, we're right on that. I come right to my phone.
Yeah, we'll get a notification that
hook up with any questions, or you got a sighting, or you just want to make a report, tell a story. We're I'm more than happy to listen to stories. We take all those into account. And, it's good. Sometimes we can get some good information from it. So stuff to look for or watch for.
And we're more than happy to share our stuff. We're a common group of people, and we're all after the same thing,
I think we need a little more cooperation amongst researchers.
Oh, I agree, 100%. We're all on the same team.
Yeah,
some of these guys know it's mine. It's mine. I'm not telling you where. I'm not telling you nothing.
Right?
Come on, dude. Really?
Yeah.
That's It's not how we're gonna figure this out.
Oh, I agree, man. Not only that, especially all the like you said earlier, I believe all these things overlap each other when it comes to UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, all that stuff. All this stuff overlaps each other, and the paranormal as well,
Yeah.
And we all got to be on the same page. We all got to be on the same team. Instead of fighting each other, we should come together.
Yeah.
Try to figure it out.
That should be our common goal.
Imagine the amount of investigators if we all pulled together and did this together.
Yep.
It's massive. It's massive. So.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Yeah, guys. Paul, Craig, definitely got to guys have you on back on for another one. Hopefully your other two guys can be back on, but
yeah,
I definitely want to hear more about your guys, more investigations and what you guys find, data and all that. So I'd love to have you guys back on. I'm actually going to shoot you guys' information out to a couple other buddies of mine who have podcasts. That way, we can get you guys out there. And
all right,
yeah, we're more than happy to share.
We're
more than happy to share.
Yeah, and as far as that, with all your guys' information and all that, and with the Penn Ohio Cryptid research page, I'm gonna put that out in the show notes, and that way, people got any questions or whatever, they can actually get a hold of you guys and click on that, and it'll go straight directly to you guys. So
we're more than happy to talk with anybody and share. Like we said, we're all in this together.
You dang right we are, man. Appreciate that for sure, sir.
All
All right. Craig, Paul, appreciate you guys. Don't go anywhere yet. I'm gonna end it. We'll chit chat a little bit and then I'll let you guys go. So
Okay.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. If you guys got any questions at all, you guys got any questions for Craig or Paul, I will put their links up in the show notes. And you guys should hit up Penn Ohio Cryptid Research. You guys got any information? You guys got any stories or anything like that? Hit these guys up. So, yeah, a lot of knowledge there, guys. Yeah, hit them up. So I'll put all their stuff in the show notes. So, all right, appreciate you guys, and remember, thank you guys for stopping by. Be safe out there. Be safe, and yeah, question everything. All right, let's get it.